the posterior muscles of the calf and a couple of the lateral muscles on the side all participate in plantar flexion, which is the push off, if you will, that the calf does while walking. But basically it is pointing your toe or raising your calves, like doing a calf raise. So that is what plantar flexion is. And there are 7 muscles that partake in the plantar flexion. And like I said, most of them are posterior. So we have gastrocnemius, and then you can see a little bit of soleus superficially. If I take off this first part, you'll have your soleus and your soleus muscle. Also can be found, on the back side. Now to the deep part of your calf. There are 3 muscles that are involved in the deep tissues of the posterior side. This first one is more of a landmark. Just as a remembrance, this is our popliteus, which is our knee flexor muscle. That is also deep, but that's not in our particular chapter. It's these 3 muscles that are part of not only the posterior part of the calf, but they also are involved in plantar flexion. So the first one I want to start with is the one that is in the center. That is tibialis posterior. Now you cannot see most of this muscle because this other muscle in front of it covers it. But if you were to take that away, tibialis posterior is located between the 2 bones. It's literally in between, but we can't see most of it because it's being covered. So number 129, or this guy in the middle behind the nerve, that is your tibialis posterior. On the lateral side of the calf, lateral to central, and you can see that it attaches to fibula, that is going to be your flexor hallucis longus. Flexor hallucis longus. So that's moving the big toe because it's a hallucis. And then finally, the muscle on the very inside, the medial, that is flexor digitorum longus. So underneath, it wraps under the bottom side of the foot. So there's a funny little anatomy class thing besides my sartorius, but this one is very notorious for all anatomy classes, and I want to tell you about Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's an acronym that some graduate assistant or biologist came up with a very long time ago to help people realize what takes place in the medial tendon area. So there's a tendon right here, a tendon right here, and then one right here. And so there's a quick and easy way to remember. Tom, Dick, and Harry. So T for Tom, now we're not going to be able to see it, but this is the tendon of T for tibialis posterior. And then, so that's Tom. Here's Dick. And if we follow him up, that's flexor digitorum longus. And then right in here, H for Harry. That's flexor hallucis longus. So on the medial side, behind the medial malleolus, Tom, Dick, and Harry. Tibialis posterior, that's Tom. D, flexor digitorum longus. H, Harry, flexor hallucis longus. And so now you know the infamous Tom, Dick, and Harry anatomy story, and you can follow those guys right up if you remember Tom, Dick, and Harry, and it'll tell you the answers of which are in the calf. So, in summary, all of your plantar flexors are gastrocnemius and soleus underneath. On the side, peroneus longus, peroneus brevis. Then, Tom, Dick, and Harry, tibialis posterior, and flexor hallucis longus, and flexor digitorum longus. And that will conclude your plantar flexors of the posterior and slightly lateral sides.